Hi, this is Taylor Henson. Today I'm going to talk to you about my assessment for bioenergy adoption at NC State. Here's a look at some of the annual energy consumption for some of the facilities at NC State. This is for the 2014 fiscal year, and as you can see, electricity accounted for over 50% of the cost for our total energy. Natural gas is up there, as well as the two fuels that we use. We've studied many different types of feedstocks that we can use to convert and distribute to make biofuels or bioenergy. I'm going to pick a couple of these to go over and look at some of the available livestock waste and some of the available land that NC State has and is ready to convert to possible use for energy crops. So taking a look at the different types of feedstocks and their annual energy yields, as you can see, there are some that are by far much higher. Just looking at switchgrass and miscanthus, we're talking about millions of BTUs per acre, or hundreds of millions of BTUs per acre, and then you're looking at stuff like sunflower, which is only around 400 million. So there's definitely differences between what's grown and the different types of waste. Another thing to look at are the different conversion processes. Transesterification, fermentation, gasification, anaerobic digestion, incineration, and gasification are the main ones that we've looked at so far this semester. So the Lake Wheeler Field Lab it holds different livestock, and at any given time the head counts vary. This was just the head counts given here are actually ones that were given at a certain time, so they aren't necessarily consistent. From my understanding, they do relatively stay around these numbers. They don't jump too awfully much, but they do change. So some of the waste options we can do with this, one of the first processes I looked at was anaerobic digestion. And anaerobic digestion is actually the process during which bacteria break down manure in an oxygen-free environment. Typically contains between 60 to 70% methane, 30 to 40% carbon dioxide, and trace amounts of other gases. And as you can see, the offset potential for the different livestocks really isn't that much. We're talking about 0.24% here, which is really not very much. It is something to do with the waste, but looking at some of the other numbers here, they are very for each different livestock you have to purchase a different digester, which can, I believe, currently, or the USDA published a study that digestion facilities can cost anywhere from $3,700 to $7,000 per kilowatt, or 0.0034 mega BTUs. So we'd be looking to operate an 1,830 MBTU facility. So assuming the cost is at highest $7,000, we're looking at around a $500,000 investment, which is on the high side using the numbers, but with cost and from what I have studied so far, it definitely looks like it can get expensive. Another process that we looked at was gasification. And gasification is the process, and it's a set of chemical reactions that uses limited oxygen to convert a carbon-containing feedstock into a synthetic gas. It sounds like combustion, but it's not. Combustion uses an abundance of oxygen to produce heat and light by burning. Gasification only uses a tiny amount of oxygen, which is combined with water or steam and cooked under intense pressure. The sign gas can then be used directly to, I believe it can anything from manufacturing fertilizers to being put in fuel cells and used later for use. But yet again, looking at gasification, we're talking about very, very low percentage of offset potential here, and very high startup cost. And this is the offset potentials compared to one another. Obviously, anaerobic digestion is by far the better choice. You can see that from the graph. So there are three different lands with acceptable transport distance from NC State. The first one is the GW Hill, which is about a 2,500 acre forest. And then the Hosley Forest, which is a 252 acre forest. And then the Schneck Forest, which is a 300 acre property. They are all used by the College of Natural Resources, either managed or studied, or some type of research is done on all these facilities. But NC State has said that they are willing to give these up for testing of bioenergy. So two of the two that I chose were switchgrass and miscanthus. Looking back at that other sheet, they were by far the highest yields. And looking at switchgrass, the first one, totaling it up, we can offset almost a little over 50% of the total electricity usage at State, which is incredible for growing switchgrass. And then miscanthus is a close second at 48%. The reason why these would be good incentives, why are we getting rid of this land? Well, using switchgrass and miscanthus, or this incineration process, people hear incineration and think, oh, you're burning it. Well, this is a carbon neutral process. We'd be growing it and then burning it, so the carbon is technically recycled, which makes it the renewable aspect. So here are the two offsets potentials compared to each other. They're really pretty much the same. Looking into what type of soil would be on these lands would probably pick out, you'd be able to pick out which one would give you a better yield. So for my bioenergy proposal, I would suggest to convert the 3 pieces of land to grow the switchgrass. And by converting it, when you clear cut it, I mean, you've got valuable resources on this area. You could certainly clear cut and sell the wood depending on the market value. That could almost provide an investment for the startup to plant the switchgrass from miscanthus. And then again, looking back at when you're getting rid of areas that are used for research, well, you can still use these areas for research. We can look into new strains of switchgrass, and there are plenty of areas that can still be studied. But that's my proposal for the bioenergy in State.